check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.
Hey, good morning to you and to all those in this here. Throwback Thursday.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning, Doc.
Hey, good morning, good morning. Always want to be careful to include all the listeners, not only in St. Vincent, but many who listen. Wish you good things on this day and always throw back to pleasant thoughts back then. On a Throwback Thursday. Anyways, I'm not going to do that. I was about to do a little throwback there, but I'll spare you.
You sure?
Well, no. Sorry, a little personal throwback, but I'll spare you that. Maybe next week I get brave enough. Always want to throw back to pleasant times and pleasant days and pleasant experiences. And I hope you have enough in your reservoir that, you could always throw back to that brings that kind of nostalgic warmth and good stuff. This week I've been taking a shift in my usual commentary style. And interestingly, although I kept it lighthearted, with a purpose, mind you, always with a purpose, but been getting some feedback. And I really appreciate people that you didn't think were listening, and sometimes you think, man, with this light-hearted commentary, people are not going to get much out of it, and people are actually, here and there messaging and saying, man, I really like what you did, I like the change up, and I like your commentary, so I really appreciate that. For those of you who missed it, and are just joining this week at this point, basically all I talked about this week, just real low stuff, low-key stuff, simplicity of island life. I think I talked a little bit about that on one day.
Did, yeah.
Simplicity of the Vinci life. Daniel.
We've been loving it. We've been loving it.
Yeah, I know. I just went back to yesterday when I called you bouge and you threw it back on me and said I was the one who's bouge.
Oh boy, we've been enjoying your commentary.
And we talked about the enjoyable things in life. Some people actually messaged and suggested some other enjoyable things that they enjoy here, in the Vinci life. And it's very heartening. And I think one of the more if there was a deep moment, I think it was yesterday when I asked, what does your true quality of life really depend on? I know that's a searching question, it's a probing question. And I asked that question based on about 30 years of counseling at different levels. So it's always a very interesting thing for me to assess and for me to get people to stop and think. I have all of these things in my life. So which one, if it is taken, it won't really affect me that badly. But you see this, don't touch that. That's. So I'm wondering if people have a good sense of what really is the axis of their quality of life. Because some things are going to go during this period, whether we like it or not. In the kind of economy that we have here, we are not really masters of our own fate. We are not the captains of our destiny. And what they say, when the rest of the world sneezes, not just America, but when the rest of the world sneezes, we're going to catch the cold. And with an island that has such, in terms of our balance of payments, not a high manufacturing entity here in St. Vincent, so practically everything, just about everything that is that we need from that sector has to be imported. We don't manufacture them here for ourselves, so that our balance of payment, that's going to be a big factor there. A lot of our food stuff I mentioned yesterday is imported. And I can go down the road. I'm not talking services and invisibles. I'm just talking about visible goods on the balance of payment. Those of you who are into economics know what I'm talking about. And because of that aspect of our balance of payment, whatever happens around the world, particularly from our import trade partners, it's going to flood its way here. When you add on top of that to the level of remittances and the I was about to make that tongue-in-cheek comment about people who live overseas, but whether they live in affluence or they struggle to make ends meet, they care about people here in St. Vincent, and they do send money back. If you just check, especially at significant holidays, check MoneyGram or Western Union or any of the remittances. It's not so much that people are lining up there to send money out of St. Vincent. You notice the need. Right, Denny?
Yeah.
I think you agree with me. I heard you say,
The lines, especially, there was a one point in time where all week, for an entire week, every time I passed, I think it's MoneyGram up that side.
Yeah.
I mean, the lines were long.
And they're not sending money overseas.
No, they're receiving.
Yeah. So that underscores the importance of remittances to St. Vincent. And from what I am, and most of this I presume would come either from the UK or USA, and most I guess those two, but predominantly USA. And what's happening, as I know, most of the Vincentians who are there, they fall into the typical category, what they call in the black and brown coloration of the economy there, and most of these workers are in service sectors. Currently, and in the daily paid workers, and not your salaried workers, but your daily paid workers who get these daily wages. These are who our people are, and these are the incomes that are not protected. I don't know how many of them are getting the Trump check, the stimulus check.
That's true.
I don't know how many of them are receiving that. Some qualify, some might qualify, some don't. And what I'm understanding is that those within the service sector, the supermarket workers, babysitters, cab drivers, bus operators, etc. You know where most of the West Indians, not all of the West Indians that got their work in these sectors, but a significant number of our people work in these sectors. They're not getting the checks, and their jobs are in jeopardy too. They're not protected by the contractual arrangements like a salaried worker. So remittances are not going to be coming back as they used to. Is my projection. The long and the short of what I am saying is that income situations will be affected here in St. Vincent. Now, why am I making this point? Because we are a consumer-oriented society. A lot of our satisfaction is based on what we can buy, what we get, our consumer goods, our gadgets, vehicles. People are mortgaged to the hilt in order to have a home and vehicle and other, appliances. And the more appliances we get, the better quality of life we presume that we are having. So our quality of life currently seems, because we are consumer oriented, our quality of life seems to be driven by our access to consumer goods, and access to consumer goods will be dependent on the flow of money. Now, what's going to happen when the remittances are not coming in as usual, or that some people, as happened here in St. Vincent, some people are laid off or told to go home for X amount of time without pay. Preschool workers, I heard on this very station that preschool workers are being sent home without pay. And God only knows when they're going to be called back out. So lots of people who are accustomed to getting a fortnightly wage or a monthly wage are not getting it. So this is something I can speak and not even have to ask the questions about it. I can actually say that income situations here in St. Vincent are going to be affected. And therefore, it brings me to this point. I've been driving at home all week, but close of the week, today's my last program for the week, I have to ask, man, so if these changes are inevitable, and if these changes come, what will they do to your quality of life? Now, yesterday I posited the notion that quality of life, and I only said this because of my years of counseling, I have like my top tier of things that determine quality of life, and they're not congruent. They don't match very well what other people decide determine their quality of life. But from my experience, and because I have had the experience, not just with myself personally, but from watching other people, counseling with them, I have concluded that however you prioritize and stack up your determinants of quality of life, among the top 3, you are going to have to put relationships. Simply because I have seen when people have everything else, that people go after cars and phones and gadgets and homes, and when their relationships, whether it is platonic or familial or intimate, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife thing, even their own relationship with themselves, because some people have what I call, there's a psychological term, unfinished business, issues from whether their childhood that they have unresolved. There are a lot of unhappy people out there who have had developmental issues, childhood issues at one stage of life or another. No matter how much they pour into their lives with gadgets and cars and things and house and buying all kind of furniture and changing curtains every 2 weeks and all kind of stuff, it does not compensate for what they went through as a child. And so you can have everything else, but your quality of life sucks. It just sucks because there's something unresolved there, a relationship with yourself. Some people loathe themselves, hate themselves. I've had people that cut themselves, Daniel. I mean, you might not have ever experienced that, but the people who, because of their self-loathing, continually do harm to themselves. And when you investigate it, you dig into it, and then some of them are in good homes, really, really good homes. So you wonder why. But some issue in their life. I might be talking to somebody this morning who knows what I'm talking about. Some issue in their life is causing them to just hate themselves, loathe themselves. So I realized, boy, quality of life is not, look, this girl, she's living in a good home. Good home. Vehicle taken her to school, whether you go to private school or not, and all of that. And her quality of life just stinks. Just because of unfinished business. Her relationship with herself, she hates herself. Some people have carried guilt and burdens, and I call it their relationship with God, because people are aware that there's an accountability, whether you believe in God or whatever, there's a sense of a greater accountability to someone outside of yourself. And when people do wrong, once they have a conscience, when people do wrong, they want some sort of catharsis, cleansing. And some people who find that are able to let go of some messed up things they have done in their lives. And again, from my position in counseling, so I deal with people who have had real mess in their lives. And they're able to move on and find peace, not because they have all of the gadgets, not because they have the best jobs, not because they have the best of this, the best homes and all of that. They're able to find peace because they find a catharsis, a cleansing. They're able to let go of a lot of stuff that have been a real mess in their life, or they have done mistakes they have made as teenagers or whatever, and they're like, but I found peace. And they are at peace now. Why are they at peace now? Not because they have all the wall of goods and everything that money can buy, no. But they have stuff that money can't buy. They have such a relationship with God who has forgiven them, and they just know that they're taken care of. So I share this with you all to say, excuse me, I share this with you all to say that my position, my vantage point allows me to see that there are other things that determine quality of life apart from what money can buy. Even matters of health. I talk about relationship a lot, but matters of health also. I would put up there because again, you have all the money in the world, but if your health is compromised, then what good does the money do to you? And I have seen people again who are unhappy, morose. They're just depressed, and they have it. Income, they have retirement bonds, they have everything. I know this. They're well set, but their health is compromised, and so it's just like, what good is all of this anyway? So during this period, it's caused me to be very contemplative and want me to share with people to be a little bit more contemplative with respect to what matters in life. Now, to wrap this all up, which I must, to wrap this all up, what do I share with you going into the weekend, and how do I want your thoughts to trend going into the weekend? Two things, perspective and contentment, because these are what's going to matter. Even when the money doesn't come in from overseas, even when your mortgage is at risk, because even though you have the moratorium period now, some people's mortgage will be at risk. The vehicle that you took out a loan for, and a lot of things that will consume you at this time, and you might lose some things, okay? You might lose some things. So what do I share with you in light of this? I will share these two things with you. Perspective. Change your perspective. Have a healthy perspective regarding what's in your life. There's something I learned, and I share with my people all the time. I use it at funerals and all of that. But it's a good reminder from what a mentor told his mentee, Timothy. He said, look, you brought nothing into this world, you're going to take nothing out. Just keep that in mind. You can accumulate all you want in life. That's not what life is about. You brought nothing in, you're going to take nothing. So if you lose some things now, don't go berserk. Don't get twisted in a pretzel. Because at the end of the day, you're still going to take it out of the world. So it's just a matter of adjusting when you lose it. You might lose it now, but at some point you were going to lose it anyway. So take that perspective in mind. But the other thing too, and it was my mom who taught me this growing up, and I learned it, and I have treasured it because it has made a difference in my life. Whatever stage you are in, son, whatever stage you are in life, learn to be content. Learn to be content. If you have plenty, be okay with it. If you have little, be okay with it. Somebody put on Vinci cuisine that they used to boil banana and fry sprat, and they were happy people. You should be happy. That's good food right there, I'll tell you that. That's good. Boiled banana and sprat, good food. Whatever state you are in life, learn to be content. Paul, actually, in one of his writings, he said that is the secret of life. If you find that secret, then you're okay with life, because your life is not going to be dependent on how much you have or how much you don't have. So those are two things I will leave for you on the weekend. And please remember, because you're going to lose some things, or possibly will lose some things over this period, whether the kind of food you used to eat, the entertainment lifestyle you had, the socializing, the gadgets, all of that. Just remember what Christ himself said in Luke 12:15. Life is not about the abundance of things. It is about the quality of people you have around you, your relationships that you guard, and your kindness, your generosity, your ability to forgive and love. These are the higher order things in life. And these things, even when money is gone, these things are still there to enrich your life. So I hope you will grab these perspectives this weekend and know that there are still good days ahead. You take care. I hope I said something helpful.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Thanks a lot.
All right,
Have a
take
great
care.
weekend.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. All right.
All right, that's Pastor Richards, and I do hope, as he said, that you'll be able to take away something from what he said, as well as us in here.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.